Hi everyone. In this lecture, we are going to focus on some numerical problems based on stoichiometry calculations. So already we have gone through the meaning of stoichiometry calculations. So what is this meaning of stoichiometry calculations? How we can convert mass into mole, mole into mass, mole into number of particles, mole into volume provided gases are involved. Then we have also defined the limiting reagent, the concept of limiting reagent. And by use of this, we have to define the quantity of the product form, whether this is in terms of the percentage yield or in terms of limiting reagent or in terms of the percentage purity, so etc. So all this involves stoichiometry calculations. So let's apply those concepts here. So starting with the problem number 1. So we have a sample of 1.5 gram sodium sulfate dissolved in water was treated with excess of barium chloride when 1.74 gram of barium sulfate were obtained as dry precipitate. What is the percentage yield of the product? So question clearly says we have an aqueous solution of sodium sulfate, treated with barium chloride. So question clearly says barium chloride is taken in excess. So this is taken in excess. When this gives you barium sulfate plus NaCl. Now since this being taken in excess, this sodium sulfate should be a limiting reagent, and question says the mass of sample taken, this is taken as 1.5 gram. So when we start with the reaction with 1.5 gram of sodium sulfate, the quantity of barium sulfate formed is 1.74 gram. So this 1.74 gram, this is the actual or the experimental yield of barium sulfate obtained. Question says what is the percentage yield? We have this experimental yield. We need to find out the theoretical yield. So if you look at this, sodium sulfate molecular mass is given as 140. Barium sulfate, this is barium sulfate. So barium sulfate mass is given as 233. So either we can proceed by use of this direct mass method or we can use the number of moles method. So now look at this. In this balance equation, now look at this. In balance equation, we have 1 mole of sodium sulfate gives 1 mole of barium sulfate. So mass of 1 mole of sodium sulfate, this is given as 140 gram. So we have, look at this, 140 gram of sodium sulfate gives 1 mole of barium sulfate, mass is 233 gram of barium sulfate. So now look at this, we have this mass. So if this is the mass, then 1 gram of sodium sulfate will give 233 divided by 140 gram of barium sulfate. Now look at this. What is the mass taken? That is 1.5. So if start a reaction with 1.5, this 1.5 gram will give 233 into 1.5 divided by 140. So now look at this. This is the theoretical yield. This is the experimental yield. Now once we have theoretical yield and the experimental yield, we can easily define the percentage yield of the product, or therefore percentage is equals to experimental yield or actual divided by theoretical multiplied by 100. So this is the experimental value, this is the theoretical value. So we have 1.74 into 100 into 140 divided by 233 into 1.5. So this is the percentage yield. So what we are doing is we are going through the balance reaction. So what the reaction is balanced here. So we take this balance reaction coefficient. 1 mole gives you 1 mole. So mass of 1 mole is 140 gram. Mass of 1 mole of barium sulfate is 233. So 1 mole means 143 grams should give you 233. Then with this mass 1.5 gram we should get this. This is the theoretically which is expected from the balanced chemical equation. But in the reality we are getting 1.74. So which is something less than the theoretical value. Why this is less than theoretical value? Because this reaction along with this sodium sulfate there are some impurities. So the reaction is only given by sodium sulfate, not by the impurities. So this is how we define the experimental yield and the theoretical yield. Once we have this theoretical yield, we take this ratio experimental value divided by theoretical value, which is calculated from the balanced chemical equation. Multiply this ratio by 100, we get the percentage yield. Now take this second question. We have a reaction. In this reaction we have started 15 gram of this CH3OH and 10 gram of carbon monoxide will give you CH3COH. Now the question is, what is the expected or the theoretical yield of CH3COH? And if the experimental yield is 1.91, then what is the percentage yield? So now look at this. We have this reaction CH3OH plus carbon monoxide. This gives you CH3COOH. Already reaction is well balanced. The coefficients are 1, 1 each. Now reaction says we are starting with 15 gram of this and 10 gram of this. Then what is the theoretical yield? What is the mass of this CH3COH? So now the first thing is, out of these two we have to decide first what is the limiting reagent. Now once we know the limiting reagent, we can easily define what is the expected product of the expected mass or the yield of the product form. So first is we have to define the limiting reagent. Now we can convert this mass into number of moles. So mass, number of moles is mass divided by molar mass. So now look at this, we have 1 carbon, 1 oxygen, 12 plus 16, 28, 28 plus 4, 32. So we have this gram molecular mass of CH3OH. Carbon is 12, oxygen is 16, 12 plus 16, 28, 28 plus 4 from hydrogen, 32. Number of moles of carbon monoxide is 10, 10 divided by 28. So this is the number of moles of carbon monoxide. So once we have this, we have to define the limiting reagent. So if you look at this, in the balance reaction, now look at this. 1 mole CH3OH requires 1 mole carbon monoxide. So now look at this. 1 mole. Now look at, we can also calculate in terms of gram. So mass of 1 mole of CH3OH, this is known as gram molecular mass. So 32 gram of CH3 requires how many gram? 28 gram of carbon monoxide. So actual mass taken is 35, so 15. So we have to find the mass corresponding to 15. So 28 divided by 32 gram. Then for 15 gram, what is the mass requirement? 28 into 15 divided by 32. Now if you look at this, so if you calculate this comes out to be 13.25 gram. So now look at this, the requirement of carbon monoxide for 15 gram of methanol is 13.25 gram, but the mass present given in the reaction mixture is 32. So now look at this, requirement is 13.25, present is 10. So therefore limiting reagent in this reaction is carbon monoxide. So once we have this limiting reagent, we can easily define what is the mass of the product form. So once look at this, so again look at this, in the balance reaction, in the balance equation we have, look at this, 1 mole carbon monoxide gives 1 mole CH3COOH. So mass of 1 mole is 28 gram. Carbon monoxide gives 60 gram of CH3COH. So 28 gram carbon monoxide gives 60 gram, 1 mole. So we have to find mass corresponding to 10 gram. So 1 gram will give 60 by 28, then the 10 gram of carbon monoxide will give you 60 into 10 divided by 28. So this is the theoretical mass expected from this stoichiometric ratio. Once we have this theoretical, this is theoretical mass, experimental mass is given as 1.91. So therefore the percentage yield is equals to experimental yield divided by theoretical yield multiplied by 100. So experimental is 1.91. Theoretical, we have this revenue 600 into 28 into 100. This is the theoretical value. So now look at this. This gives you the expected yield from the stoichiometric ratios. So this, look at this. First we find out the limiting reagent. From this limiting reagent we define the mass of the X product that could be expected from the stoichiometric ratio. Now look at this. Another way of doing this is, we have this mole. As I told you, we can also correlate from the number of moles. So look at this, 1 mole gives you, CH of this gives you 1 mole. So look at this, 1 mole CH3OH gives 1 mole of carbon monoxide. So therefore look at this, the number of moles of CH2OH taken is 15 by 32. This will give you how many? 15 by 32. So now look at this, if 1 mole CH3OH gives you 1 mole COH, then number of moles of CH3OH that is introduced in the reaction container is 15 by 32. So 15 by 32 mole of CH3OH have to give you 15 by 32 mole of carbon monoxide. Now this is the mole of carbon monoxide required for this 15 by 32. Now we have to cross check this value with this value. This comes out to be 0.47, whereas this value This comes out to be 0.35. Now look at this, requirement is 0.47, present is 0.35. So now look at this is the X number of moles. So now look at this, 1 mole will gives you 1 mole. So the expected yield is 1 mole mass. So therefore 0.35 mole will give you 0.35. So this is the expected. Now we convert this mole into mass. We multiply this mass, number of moles divided by gram atomic mass, which gives you the mass product in terms of mass. So either way is we can go by this mole method or by this mass method. In both we will get the same answer. Now let's look at this problem number 3. Now, what is the weight of calcium oxide obtained by heating 200 kg of 95% pure calcium carbonate? So, we are starting with this reaction. Calcium carbonate on heating, this is a sign for heating, on heating decompose to give you calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. So, question says, what is the mass of calcium oxide that could be obtained if 200 kg of this calcium carbonate whose percentage purity is 95% on heating? So if you look at this balance reaction, because this calcium oxide will be coming from pure calcium carbonate only. So since the percentage purity is 95%, means out of this total sample 5% is impurity and 95% is the calcium carbonate. So if you look at this stoichiometric ratio, okay, this is a well balanced reaction. In balance equation, 1 mole calcium carbonate gives 1 mole calcium oxide. So 1 mole calcium carbonate will give you 1 mole of calcium oxide. So 1 mole is 100 molecular mass of calcium carbonate is 100 grams. So 100 gram of calcium carbonate will give you molecular mass is 40 plus 16, 56. 56 gram of calcium carbonate, so oxide. So if 100 gram gives this, then 1 gram will give you 56 by 100 gram. Then now look at this. What is the mass of calcium carbonate present here? That is 95% of 200. So 95% of 200 kilogram. So this is kilogram. So 95% of 200 kilogram. So this cancels out. This will give you 56 into 95 into 2000 divided by 100. So this is the mass of calcium oxide that could be obtained from 200 kilogram whose percentage purity is 95. That means this 200 is not the mass of calcium carbonate alone. This is the mass of calcium carbonate plus the impurities. But in this reaction, impurities does not have any contribution to the formation of calcium oxide. Only the pure calcium carbonate is giving you calcium oxide. So we have to take the mass of calcium carbonate pure to be 295% of this 200 kilograms. So again look at this cancels out. So this is the mass or the weight of calcium oxide that could be obtained. Now look at this problem. Potassium superoxide is used in gas max to generate oxygen. If a reaction vessel contains 0.15 mole of CO2 and 0.1 mole of water, what is the limiting reagent and how many moles of oxygen can be produced? So now look at this. We have this balance reaction. Now in this balance reaction, for every 2 moles of potassium superoxide, we require 1 mole. So now look at this. In balance reaction or in balance equation, 2 mole of KO2 requires 1 mole of H2O. So therefore 1 mole will require half mole of water. But how many moles of KO2 is present? 0.5. So 0.15 mole of KO2 will require half into 0.15 mole of water. So if you look at this, zero 0.5 into 0.15, that is 0.075 mole of water is required. So now look at this requirement of H2O. For 0.15 mole of KO2 is 0.075, but how many moles of water is present? 0.15 mole. 0.1 mole of water is present. Requirement is 0.075 mole, but present amount of water is 0.1. So therefore, the limiting reagent is your KO2. For this 2 mole, the requirement is the 0.075 moles of water, but actually how many moles of water is present? 0.1 mole of water is already present in the reaction mixture. So requirement is less than the amount present, so therefore this water is present in excess. If water is present in the excess quantity, then KO2 will be your limiting reagent. So once we have this limiting reagent, we can easily define what is the quantity of product that could be formed. So if you look at this again balance reaction, again in balance equation, 2 mole of KO2 gives 3/2 mole of oxygen. So we have to find the quantity of oxygen produced. So 1 mole will give you 3/2 into 2 mole of water, oxygen. Then actual amount is 0.15. So 0.15 will give you 3 into 0.15 divided by 4. So this is the actual number of moles of oxygen that could be produced when we have 0.15 mole of KO2 and 0.01 mole of water is introduced, which reacts according to this reaction. So question involves first calculation of limiting reagent. Once we have this limiting reagent, we can define what is the quantity of the product formed. Now let's look at this next problem. We have a reaction, carbon plus oxygen gives you carbon monoxide, in which 24 gram of carbon and 96 gram of oxygen is introduced. Find the limiting reagent, which reagent is left in excess and by how much, and how many moles of this product is formed. So look at this reaction very carefully. Already reaction is balanced. So we have 2 carbon plus 1 oxygen gives you 2 carbon monoxide. Initial is given as, look at this, 24 gram of carbon and 96 gram of oxygen. Then what is the limiting reagent and what is the mass of carbon monoxide formed and which one is present in the excess quantity. So now look at this, we can convert this mass into number of moles. So mass is 24, so therefore number of moles is 24 divided by gram atomic mass, that is 12. So this comes out to be 2. 96 divided by 32, grammatical mass of oxygen is 32, so this comes out to be 3. So we are starting with 2 moles of carbon and 3 moles of oxygen. Then what is the limiting reagent? So let's see first limiting reagent. Now if you look at this balance reaction, 2 mole of carbon requires 1 mole. Balance equation says 2 mole carbon requires 1 mole. Now look at this. In the balance reaction, we says for every 2 mole of carbon, we require how many moles of oxygen? We require 1 mole. But look at this, actual amount of oxygen present is 1 mole. Requirement is 1 mole. Actual present is 3. So that means this actual present is more than the required. So therefore, carbon is a limiting reagent. Therefore, carbon is limiting reagent. Second, now if carbon is limiting reagent, oxygen is present in excess. Oxygen is present in excess. Now, requirement of oxygen for 2 moles of carbon in this reaction is 1 mole, but actually present is 3. So therefore, excess amount is equals to 3 minus 1, that is 2 mole. So this is number of moles of oxygen present in excess. So this is equals to 2 into 32, that is 64 gram is present in excess quantity. So out of this 92, 96, 64 remains unreacted. Only the 32 gram undergoes chemical reaction to give you the product. Third, how many moles of carbon monoxide is formed? Now look at this again. This carbon is limiting reagent. So from the balance reaction, look at this. 2 moles of carbon gives you 2 moles of carbon monoxide. That means 1 mole will give you 1 mole. So again, balance equation says 2 mole carbon gives you 2 mole carbon monoxide. So now look at this, actual amount of carbon introduced in the reaction is also 2 moles. So 2 mole will give you 2 moles of carbon monoxide. So the number of moles of how many moles of carbon monoxide formed is 2 moles of carbon monoxide will be formed in the reaction. So in terms of mass, this is 2 into 28 gram. That is 56 gram of carbon monoxide or 2 moles of carbon monoxide will be formed. So again, this reaction involves calculation of limiting reagent. Then we have to find which one is present in excess. Then we have to find the amount of the product formed from this balanced stoichiometric ratios. Now take this reaction. We have a reaction carbon monoxide plus oxygen gives you carbon dioxide. In the reaction container, 1 liter of oxygen at STP and 3 liters of carbon monoxide at STP is introduced. Then after the reaction, what is the quantity of the reacting mixture present? So we have this balance reaction. Now in this balance reaction, now look at this, 2 moles of carbon monoxide reacts with 1 mole of oxygen to give you 2 moles of carbon dioxide. In this balance reaction, question says 1 liter of oxygen at STP and 3 liters of monoxide at STP. So look at this initial. What is being given? 3 liter. Oxygen is 1 liter. Both are maintained at STP. So initial 3 liter of monoxide and 1 liter is being introduced. Now the first is to define the quantity or the amount of the substance left after the course of reaction. We have to define this limiting reagent. Now look at this. Let's invoke the concept of Gas-Redox law of combining volume, because all the reactants and products are in gas. So now look at this. In the balance reaction, the coefficient of carbon monoxide is 2 and the coefficient of oxygen is 1. So that means both are maintaining at the same temperature pressure condition, that is STP. So now look at this, 2 volumes of carbon monoxide always requires 1 volume. So look at this, in balance equation, 1 volume of oxygen requires 2 volume of carbon monoxide. So this is the balance reaction. For every 1 volume of oxygen, we require how many volumes of carbon monoxide? We require 2 volumes. So actual amount of oxygen given is 1 liter, amount of carbon monoxide given is 3, but balance chemical equation says 1 liter oxygen always requires 2. So if 1 volume means 1 liter of oxygen will require 2 liters of carbon monoxide. So, but the quantity of carbon monoxide given is 3. So that means the requirement of carbon monoxide for 1 liter of oxygen is 2 liter. Initial pressure is 3 liter. That means carbon monoxide is present in excess. So therefore, oxygen is our limiting reagent. So once we have this oxygen, we can easily define what is the quantity of carbon dioxide formed. So now look at this. Again from balance equation says 1 volume of oxygen gives 2 volume of carbon dioxide at the same temperature and pressure condition. So 1 volume oxygen will always gives you 2 volumes of carbon dioxide. So therefore 1 liter of oxygen will give you 2 liters of carbon dioxide at STP. So therefore now look at this, we have to find the weight of the substance. So oxygen is 100% consumed, so we are left is carbon monoxide. So therefore look at this, volume of carbon monoxide left is equals to, requirement is 2, present is 3. So therefore 3 minus 2 liter at STP. So STP means itna liters. So that is 1 liter at STP. So volume of carbon monoxide left at STP is 1 liter. So therefore number of moles of carbon monoxide volume at STP divided by molar volume, that is 22.4 liter. So this is for gas. We define number of moles as volume occupied by the gas at STP divided by molar volume, that is 22.4. So this is the, therefore mass of carbon monoxide is number of moles into molecular mass. So number of moles is 1 by 22.4. Gram molecular mass of carbon monoxide is 28. So this much gram of carbon monoxide is left. Volume of carbon dioxide formed, 1 liter oxygen gives you 2 liter. So this is 2 liter at STP. So therefore number of moles of carbon dioxide is 2 by 22.4 and the mass, that is 2 by 22.4 into 44, because molecular mass of carbon dioxide is 44. So forces, we have defined limiting reagent. From this limiting reagent we find the product, and since these are given in terms of volume, so reactants and products being gaseous state, we use simply Gay-Lussac law of combining volume. So we define the volume of carbon monoxide left and volume of carbon dioxide formed. We convert this volume, since this volume being at STP, so we convert this volume in terms of number of moles by use this relationship. Number of moles is volume occupied by the gas at STP divided by molar volume. From this number of moles we convert into mass. So number of moles is mass divided by molar mass. Now let's take this reaction. We have a given reaction. In this reaction, 12.4 gram of phosphorus combines with 6 moles of PCl2. Question says, what is the percentage yield of PCl3? So we have this reaction P4 plus 6Cl2 4 PCl3. Question clearly says this is taken in excess, so this must be your limiting reagent, so we can easily define the product. Look at this. In this reaction, amount of PCl4 introduced is 12.4 grams. So we can define the number of moles. Moles is 12.4 divided by phosphorus is 31. 31 into 4, 124. So this is 124 gram molecular mass of phosphorus is 124. So that means this is 0.1. So we have 0.1 mole of P4 is introduced. Now look at this. In balance reaction, in this balance equation, 1 mole P4 gives 4 mole PCl3. So if 1 mole gives you 4 mole, then 0.1 will give you 0.4 moles of PCl3. So the quantity of PCl3 that could be expected from 0.1 mole of phosphorus is 0.4. But how much is formed? Only 0.2 mole is formed. So therefore, percentage yield is actual yield divided by theoretical yield multiplied by 100. So actual is 0.2, theoretical is 0.400. So this comes out to be 50%. So the percentage yield of PCl3 in the reaction is 50%. So simply look at this. Question clearly says this is excess, so this is nothing but the limiting reagent. So we have to convert this mass into number of moles. So number of moles, then we have defined this number of moles experimental already given, number of moles theoretical we have defined here. So take this ratio, multiply by 100, this gives you the percentage. Now look at this. We have a sample of calcium oxide. The whole of the calcium present in this sample is precipitated as calcium oxalate. Now this oxalate on heating gives, ignition matlab heating, gives 0.3462 gram of calcium carbonate. Then question says what is the percentage of calcium oxide in the sample? So if you look at this question carefully, we have a sample of calcium oxide containing calcium. The calcium present in calcium oxide is converted into calcium oxalate. Now this calcium oxalate on heating is converted into calcium carbonate. So if you look at this, if you look at this conversion very carefully, 1 mole of calcium oxide, this is the pure, because this reaction is coming from pure calcium oxide. 1 mole of pure calcium oxide gives you 1 mole of calcium oxalate. 1 mole of calcium oxalate on gives you 1 mole of calcium carbonate. So with this pure, what is the mass this formed? That is 0.3462 gram is formed. So we can convert this into number of moles. So this is 0.3462 divided by 100. Gram molecular mass of calcium carbonate is 100. So this is moles. So now look at this. If you look at this balance, this is 111. So therefore, number of moles of calcium carbonate obtained is equals to the number of moles of pure calcium oxide. So therefore, number of moles of calcium oxide pure is equals to number of moles of calcium carbonate. So this comes out to be 0.3462 divided by 100. So once we have this number of mole, we can define mass of calcium oxide pure present in the sample, because we define this number of moles as mass by molar mass. So mass is nothing but number of moles of calcium oxide multiplied by molar mass of calcium oxide. So number of moles is 0.3462 divided by 100. Molar mass is 40 plus 15, 56. So this is the mass of calcium oxide present in the sample. Now question is what is the percentage? So therefore percentage is the actual mass and this is the theoretical mass. So, actual mass divided by theoretical mass into 100. Actual mass is, this is the actual pure, 0.3462 into 56 divided by 100 divided by theoretical. Theoretical is 0.8432 into 100. This cancels out, so this comes out to be 3462 into 56 divided by 8432. So this is the percentage of calcium oxide in the sample. So now look at this, we have to look at this reaction. This is converted into, calcium oxide is converted into oxalate, oxalate into carbonate. So 1 mole gives you 1 mole gives you 1 mole. So we have 1:1:1 ratio. From this we can define the quantity of pure calcium oxide present should be equal to the quantity of calcium carbonate, because the number of moles of calcium carbonate is equal to number of moles of calcium oxide.